As we get started with these, first of all, we're thrilled to have you. Many of you have done this tasting for years at this point. This is one of the things that is left over since COVID times, and we continue to have a great time with it. As long as you love attending, we will continue doing these. So thank you. It's a nice way to get to connect with folks who don't necessarily live close by, to just pop in to the preview parties or, on a random weekend. So we appreciate it. And again, we'll keep everybody on mute throughout, but that doesn't mean we don't want to hear from you. We have both Melissa and Kelly, our team members. Many of you know Melissa. Kelly is one of our newer team members. She's been with us since August, and she is the queen of keeping the wheels on of the club, of you like getting wine physically. So thank you. And any questions, throw them in the chat. And they're there to whatever food recommendations, if you have questions on the wines, if there's anything technical that we're not getting to that you'd like us to chat about, throw that in the chat and they can make sure that we get to it. And we're just delighted. So we're here to celebrate the spring wines. Hello, everybody.
Let's roll.
Let's roll.
Let's do this.
Let's do this. So the wines that you should all have are the 6 that were in the tasting kit. 5 of which are new spring releases. So we're going to start with that Picpoul Blanc, get into the Grenache Blanc. We've got the new GSM, the new Old 900. Then we're going to go back in time with a library vintage of Old 900. And we'll finish with the Ansbach Petite Syrah. So we're super excited for just to get into it, basically. And you all should have gotten the release email yesterday. So if you haven't seen that, that's in your inbox. So now is the window to customize the wines. You can choose whatever you want. We'll follow up and help, and we can get stuff shipped out as you'd like. If you do nothing, we will charge your card with the winemaker selection on the 18th, and the wines will ship on the 30th. So you've got some time to think about what you'd like based on tonight's tasting. And I'm now going to stop talking because it's boring for me to talk the whole time. I'm going to hand it on over for little updates on what's happening in the vineyard and in the winery this time of year.
Right. You want to start or I'll start?
Well, I'll jump in on this one anyway.
We're going to start with like deep nerd content.
Yeah, we got pictures. There's some pictures we're going to show here. So this was a picture taken a week ago, I'm going to say. It was taken in block 11, which is our Mourvedre block. You can see, if you look at the grass behind you, can see the cover crops growing a bunch from that earlier picture. We found a couple of guys from Sonoma, actually, who are going to create what's known as a monolith. And if you look there, you can see that they're down in a trench. There's 2 trenches, one in each row. And in between 2 grapevines, they have isolated that white wrapped thing that you see there is a soil profile. And so we're going to have about a 5-foot soil profile here in the tasting room. And we'll be able to show that to you. We're always talking about how important growing the grapes are, and we'll be able to, give you a little bit of feeling for what that's like. Let's flip it to the next one, Madge. Yeah, so this is taken from the right under the dripper. It would have been, if you were looking back up one, Madge, if you can. Yeah, see the guy that's there with the baseball cap looking down at it? Just to his left, you can see there's a vine there. This picture was taken when they first started to excavate by that vine. So now go back to it. So you're looking at the root ball that exists under a dripper, and it's a mixture of
fur.
Yeah. This shows extraordinary vineyard soil health is what it amounts to. So all those roots, most of those are vine roots. Some of them are cover crop roots, but they have that sort of dreadlock look to them, and that's the so-called rhizosphere, where they've built up a region around the root to attract in all the biology, which in turn feeds them with minerals that they need to grow. If you look on the right-hand side, you can see a big root kind of sticking out. It's been cut off. We'll get back to that in the next picture just to orient you on where we're at. The other thing to look is if you look where there's a little bit of an opening in between all the smallest roots, you can see the rocks. They're about the size of a pair of dice or something like that. Okay, Madge, go to the next one.
When I look at this as an untrained eye, I find it difficult to parse the rocks, but I think the next slide helps a little bit with that.
Yeah. Okay, so now we're looking at it a little bit later where they've cleared away all of that fuzzy root ball, you can see the big root sticking out, so it sort of orients it for you. And we flipped around where we're looking at it from the other direction. And then what you can kind of see is that there's about, I don't know, 2 feet of topsoil there. You can see where I drew a line full of roots. There's lots of little roots in there. And then down below, it becomes quite rocky, as you can see. But if even in this picture, notice there are smallish roots growing down in there. And then the final picture, I believe, is next, Maggie. Yeah, this is taken from the bottom of the trench where you couldn't really see it from above, but this is 5 feet down. It's in the middle of the row, actually. And you can see there's a vine root about the size of your thumb or so working away down there. So we have some exceptionally deep rooted vines and some very, very healthy soil. And you can see in this picture, the lower layers, the amount of rock that exists in there. This is shale, calcareous shale. We're sitting on what once was the Pacific plate. This was also horizontal, buried under, I don't know, thousands of feet of water if you go back a few million years.
Ancient seabed.
And now, of course, it's the tectonic plates are bumping into one another, and the coastal range has been pushed up. And you can kind of see what exists. The sedimentary rock is still there, but it's all broken up now.
So my takeaways, tell me if this is correct.
All right.
The things that tell us that the soil is healthy are the furry bits.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Because that means that the vines are growing actively right now.
Yes.
And then we like to see those roots that are deep and big.
That's correct. It tells you that it's seeking water. So that's one of the reasons why we don't have to irrigate very much. And although you can't tell from this, I have a bunch of measurements of that soil. It's chock-a-block full of minerals and full of biology as well.
It's, if there's ever been something you've wondered, has Bob measured this? The answer is probably yes. And if you're interested, ask him. He would love to tell you about it. Bob at altacolina.com. I love it.
All right.
Thanks, Dad.
Over and out. Let's get Dallas's update here.
Yeah, so in the cellar this time of year, we're largely looking at our summer bottling. So we've just finished our January bottling. January 21st, we bottled the Picpoul and Grenache Blanc that you have today, as well as Viognier, a Marsanne Roussanne dominated blend for the fall, and our rosé as well. So we got that pushed to the side, and now we're looking at bottling our 2024 reds in the summer. So this time of year, we're doing blending trials, which you can see in the photo on the right there. Process there is essentially that we taste every barrel one by one, grade them, and then more or less pick out the best for our blends that go into these wines that eventually get bottled. So yeah, and this time of year is a little bit more cut and dry than last time we talked. We were nearing the chaos of harvest last time. So
and it truly is. I mean, this looks like a Costco plastic table with like little, we bought them on Amazon, little bottle. That's literally what's happening.
Man, you don't need to give away all the trade secrets.
But that's the thing is, you know, this is how wine is made, right? Is we're sampling every individual barrel. Dallas, Jesse, and Bob are tasting everything and measuring different, you know, there's graduated cylinders and beakers and some pretty straightforward stuff just to narrow in on the blends themselves. And then it gets more technical, I would say. But, you know, it's winemaking is an analog activity, which is one of the cool things. You can't feed how wine tastes and smells into ChatGPT and have it tell you what to do. And so it's part of what's cool about Dallas's job and what we get to do here, I think. Let's drink some wine. Let's get into the
Picpoul Blanc. So you guys, that should be in your glass. Let me just give a quick note on the pairing since we have these wonderful cheese pairings.
Oh, wait, we also did not introduce ourselves.
Oh.
I realized. I apologize. Again, some of you have been to these before, and for many of you, it is your first time on a virtual tasting. We want it to be conversational. Throw those questions in the chat. I'm Maggie. I help sell things and tell people what goes on.
And I'm her dad.
And that is my dad.
I try and follow directions as best I can.
Yes. And
I'm Dallas Parnigoni, the winemaker here.
yes. Hello. All right.
Cheese.
Wines.
Cheese first.
Cheese.
So Picpoul Blanc, fantastic. Dallas is going to fill you in on that. The cheese is a mozzarella paired oil. In our case, we ordered the condiments from the
From Murray's
cheese outfit,
Cheese.
Murray's Cheese.
Yep.
So we have apricot urfa. And if you're wondering what urfa is, Lynn just Googled it a while ago. It's sort of a Middle Eastern yummy tasting thing.
It's a chili flake. It's a Turkish chili flake.
And if you chose to follow Emily's recipes that were sent to you, you have what's known as a kiwi mostarda.
Mm-hmm. So
sounds really great too. By
our
the way,
former coworker and friend Emily, who's a pro with wine, but also has a background in cheese. Even though she's no longer on our team, she's still part of our team twice a year. She still has the pairings for us. So we're excited for you to get into that. All right, let's have a little Picpoul.
Yeah, so the Picpoul, we've only had 2 vintages of Picpoul. 2024 was the first. If you had it, it was a huge hit last year. So going into 2025, I was, hesitant to change very much, but what we did with the Picpoul is split the fermentation half barrel fermented, neutral barrel fermented. So our goal there is not to gain any sort of oak flavor. It's really just to give a little bit of antioxidants from the oak and, a little lees stirring. Our ability to stir the lees in a barrel is better than in a big stainless steel tank. Now, the traditional way to make Picpoul, probably 95 or maybe 99% of the Picpoul made in the world is going to be fully stainless steel ferment, keep it as cold as you can during the fermentation. So that's what we did with the other half. And essentially we produced 2 very distinct wines and then blended them back together for this bottling, which ended up being better than either constituent part. We brought some complexity in. And I'm really happy with it. It's got some really cool texture and still that classic Picpoul Blanc high acidity. I'm sure if anybody's ever tried to sell you a Picpoul Blanc before, they've told you that in French it roughly translates to lip stinger, referring to the acidity of the grape.
Will you pass it to me? Actually, I would like some more.
Yeah.
And it's really good with the pairing. So, Bob, I would love for you to talk a little bit about why we planted this. We have no more plantable acreage. So when we plant something new, it means we are taking out an existing grape and grafting on top of that rootstock. So it's a big deal when we add something new. And I'd love to know why we chose Picpoul.
Well, if you go back the last several years, you might have noticed that we were making all sorts of different wines from the Grenache grape. We had the basic GSM, which is Grenache dominant red wine. A couple of years, we've actually had a Grenache bottling. We also made a rosé, a bottled rosé, a canned rosé from Grenache. We made a carbonic Grenache, and we made a pétnat, a sparkling Grenache. So, i.e., we had more Grenache than we knew what to do with.
We figured out what to do with it, but yes, it was a lot.
So it was the logical candidate that we might be able to graft over if we wanted to try an additional grape. And white grapes are gaining in popularity. Plus, I like drinking them. The older I get, the better I like them, actually. And Picpoul Blanc is a good choice in that it's a late ripening, real heat tolerant version of a white grape, which everybody worries about the climate changing and so forth. It just seemed wise to try and select something that would be happy with that situation. Not to mention that the wine is just fantastic, as you can tell.
I love this wine, and it's one we did a team tasting on Friday, and people guests in the tasting room, they ask us a lot of like, oh, what's the deal with Picpoul? And I have to say, like, we're still learning, because again, it's just our second vintage, but that really bright acid forward, but not gonna give me heartburn type of acid is something that we really love about it. And both the Picpoul and the Grenache Blanc are, I think, perfect spring releases, going into summer, but also drink whatever you want, whenever you want. It's a
little more color to it. What we did was we basically cut off the Grenache vines and we took one bud of Picpoul that we got from a neighbor. We traded him some wine for it and inserted that in there and kind of taped it up. And it took off like a rocket ship. It was unbelievable. It had a 20-year-old root system and one bud to work with, and it basically grew a vine in a year. We didn't allow any fruit that first year, but the second year we got a full crop off of the darn thing, as we did the third year.
Yeah, it's always a crapshoot when you're messing with vines, and that's, if we have to replant something or graft something, part of it is you do the right process and then you cross your fingers. So we were pretty happy with how the Picpoul took to the vineyard. Okay, we are ready for the next one. You're all ready for some Grenache Blanc? I saw someone down it. I love it. Way to stay on schedule.
Grenache Blanc? Is it dump bucket or?
Grenache Blanc. We do have dump buckets, but again, follow your hearts. Those tasting kits, just for reference, the full 6 bottles is the equivalent of 1.5 bottles of wine. So if that's a helpful metric, there you are. And do with that what you will.
Let me jump in here before we roll. On Grenache Blanc cheese, we have a cheese pairing. This one is Lagrine, which, by the way, is I think a white grape, or is it a red grape, Dallas?
It's a red.
Yeah, it's an Italian red grape.
Yes.
It also turns out to be a cheese, so that's handy.
Yes. Well, this is from Alta DJ, which is basically a super cool northern growing region in Italy. And I'm really excited about this pairing. It's with the whole grain mustard. And a little Grenache Blanc time. We have been making Grenache Blanc since I started that sentence, and I don't know the answer to that. Do you know, Bob?
Forever. is the
For a
answer.
long time.
Yeah.
For well over a decade.
That's 2007, actually.
Yes. Really?
Really? Yes.
We might have to fact check this.
No, the first Maggie. I happened to be there at the time. In the first year, all of our whites were blended into one cuvee, if you will.
Oh,
So all 4 whites ended up in a single tank, and we actually sold it to Chronic Cellars, which is down the road from here. And they bottled it under their label and sold it to people on their way to Lake Nacimiento, as far as I can tell. That first year, so our whites came out a year before our reds, because the reds needed that extra year bottle age. So we really didn't want to open a tasting room and have one wine to pour them, which was a white wine. So we waited for the second year.
Yeah, it was good practice. You're right. I did forget about that. Dallas. Oh, and one thing to note too, this tasting is extra special. You know, a lot of you got to meet Dallas on Zoom in the fall, and he was presenting wines made by Molly. And this is a transitional tasting. So both of these white wines are from vine to bottle, Dallas's wines. And then he also, with the reds, was able to sort of pick up the baton from Molly and finish blending and make sure that they got in bottle as successfully as we hoped that they would. And so over the next year, we're going to get to have these kind of transitional tastings with you, which is super cool. So I'll let Dallas take over and talking about the Grenache Blanc.
Yeah, so the Grenache Blanc, to compare it to the Picpoul, we were aiming for a slightly more, maybe a medium-bodied wine as opposed to the lighter-bodied Picpoul. So we made 2 separate picks, an early pick, which really was targeting mouthfeel qualities for the most part. So a little bit more acid on that early pick, and we gave that a short skin contact as well, just to pull a little bit of weight from the skins, maybe a tiny bit of astringency. The second pick, we waited until we had peak flavor really in the vineyard and brought the grapes in then, and just went directly to the press on that one. So we have, again, two parts where if you put them together, you have something better than either of the constituent parts. So yeah, you know, it's a really fun, very floral sort of Grenache Blanc, and I think it's awesome. The cheese pairing looks excellent as well. Any notes?
So the Grenache Blanc, one of the things I love about it, that's sort of associated with either a regular Grenache or a Grenache Blanc, is on the palate. There's a creamy richness to it. And with this Grenache Blanc, of course, you've got that acid, and that creamy bit is just like primo. I really love it.
So something that I'm going to ask you about, Dallas, is sometimes in particularly whites, you'll see little crystally bits. Oh. What are those? And is there a chance that they might exist in our white wines today?
Oh, okay. This is a question from the chat, I presume.
It is.
So
keep them coming, guys. It's good.
Yeah, no, thank you for bringing it up. So in white winemaking, there's a final step before bottling called cold stabilization, where essentially we get the wine very cold and it causes tartaric acid crystals to precipitate out and then we bottle it after that's happened. Now, we had to get our organization together on getting these mini bottles put together before that final step was made on our larger bottling.
It was my fault because I went on vacation. So I'm
So
sorry.
we bottled it unstabilized. I didn't know that.
We did, yeah. It was a little thing in the back of my head that I thought probably nobody will get
notice.
crystals.
Yeah.
But essentially, these little crystals are, I mean, you can chew on them. They're about as harmless as the little sour crystals that you get on your Sour Patch Kids, which is to say that they're not harmful at all.
There's a spice or something. It's called creme de something or other.
Oh, I don't know.
That's just
I don't know either.
you can buy bottled
Oh,
crystals of tartaric acid. There's a name for it, which is
Yeah.
escaping me.
Oh, I don't
Yeah,
know, but I'm
yeah.
curious.
Yeah.
Why would you do that?
cream of tartar.
Cream of tartar.
Cream
That's
of
what
tartar,
it is.
yeah.
Yeah. There you go.
That's what it is.
There we go. Yeah. So anytime you might see that, and it could, honestly, it happens. I think it can happen in red wine also.
It can with age,
You
but
just don't
yeah.
see it because because the bottles are dark and the wine is dark. So you can't see them the way you can in a rosé or a white wine. So when you see those, again, totally harmless, and it's a sign that, we're not fiddling
Natural
too
winemaking,
much.
very
Yeah,
natural winemaking.
we're not fiddling. We're letting them be. Absolutely. And I want to bring the map back up because, again, any of you who've ever met us know we love a map. So as you're looking at this is a drone image taken. Basically, we were trying to get as much of the vineyard in one photo as possible, and it happened to be a full rainbow. So this was taken about a year ago, maybe 2 years ago now in the spring, but you can see that beautiful, the whole rainbow going around. And at the very top, you can see the Picpoul Blanc. You can see the Grenache Blanc coming down the side. And do you guys know, it's written right there, in terms of acreage, how much we have a piece?
Of Picpoul, we have 1 acre plus or minus 0. Right on. We nailed it. And of Grenache Blanc, we have 1.27, I believe.
And then of the Grenache that we grafted, what percentage did we graft over to Picpoul? Sort of a quarter on that section?
I would say closer to a third, somewhere between a quarter and
Okay.
a third of that Grenache Blanc was converted.
And when we say a third of that block, it means that one section of the vineyard, we actually have 3 blocks of Grenache. So we didn't graft a third of our total Grenache over, but we took one section of it and took a third. All right.
Are we
Let's
on?
get into some red.
We're on to GSM.
We're on to GSM. So the random floating S on the left, the random floating G under Picpoul Blanc, and the random floating M under Grenache Blanc are the locations of the components of this wine. So the Grenache, the Syrah, and the Mourvedre that make up the 2023 blend. Bob is going to clue us in.
Here's the wine.
On
I'm doing cheese at the moment.
The pairing.
So our store-bought thing is Old Farm Doll, which is the cheese. Sounds like a tractor, Old Farm Doll.
It's a Belgian Gouda, but yes, it might also be a tractor.
There is a Farm All, actually.
Oh, okay.
And almonds, and these almonds, they're coated with sugar or something. Man alive, they're so good. I had a handful of them before we started this project here.
Yep, I think Mel might have stolen a few today also. And now that it's open, this is what I'll be eating for lunch tomorrow.
And so this is the first of the 2023s to make its appearance on the scene. This wine Molly made the wine. I bottled it. She took it through blending, and I bottled it. And so 2023, I have a little bit of info for you. Yeah, this GSM was a killer. 23 was the coolest year since 2011, and 2011 was the coolest year since 1959. So it was very long. It was kind of a great vintage because we didn't get any rain or anything. You just left things hanging out there till they were ready to go. Most of July and October, we were a little bit above average on heat, but every other month we were quite cool. We picked 34 times during that time. They were spread over 10 weeks. Our first pick was the middle of September.
And that was everything. It wasn't just components for GSM. It was 34.
Yeah, that's everything. That includes
So
all the whites,
all the
and everything
reds.
else. Yeah.
That's a lot.
So yeah, spread over 10 weeks. This is wrong. We started the last week of August. We brought in 118 tons, which is 3.6 tons to the acre. So that was almost exactly an average year for Alta Colina in terms of just vineyard overall performance. In terms of GSM performance,
Awesome.
This is killer. Yeah.
2023, talk to any winemaker and ask them about 2022, and then ask them about 2023, and they'll all go like, oh, thank God for 2023. 2022, there were some curveballs, and 2023 was a much more even-keeled vintage in terms of the weather, which was a nice change of pace. And the results are just gorgeous. You know, yields were where we like to see them in terms of how much fruit the vineyard grew. And we just had beautiful sort of raw ingredients to work with to put together this blend. And many of you know this wine really well. We always make a version of a GSM. And if you were to line up every vintage we've ever made since 2007, I think 2 vintages might be the same because they were a third of each grape, but otherwise they totally vary. There's never a recipe that we follow. The whole point is make the best wine, which from a winemaking standpoint, a lot of times Molly would say, oh, that's one of the hardest things. It's one of the hardest sort of assignments, because if I say make the best Syrah from this spot on the vineyard, there's these built-in, you know, sort of confines. And with GSM, we have multiple blocks of all of these varieties picked at different times. And so there's a lot more ingredients to work with. So when you're approaching this kind of a blend, like, I don't know, talk us through it.
Yeah. So, you know, this is one of, well, it's probably it's the blend here at Alta Colina that has the most parts. So, you know, if you're working with our old 900 Syrah, it's essentially all block 8, and then it can be a little bit easier to do the blending. But when you get into the GSM, adding plus or minus even just 1 or 2% of different varieties can make actually a very big difference on how the wine tastes. And so you can really spin your wheels for weeks on end trying to, you know, tweak things a little bit more here and there. So you know, essentially our GSM is targeting Chateauneuf du Pape style, which means that Grenache leads the blend. And beyond that, like Maggie said, it's just trying to make the best wine that we can out of it. So that's the guideline. And
it's not the most easy of assignments. The way I picture it, and I've used this analogy before, so if you guys have heard me say this 4 times, it's because it really speaks to me. I'm so sorry. But as not being on the technical side of winemaking, I read a book in college that was about Renaissance artists, so like Da Vinci and Michelangelo. Da Vinci? Yeah, we're talking about Michelangelo. Ignore. And it was talking about the statue of David. So that really famous statue of the dude who's really tall. And if you picture it, he's standing on his back foot. And that's a big deal with sculpture because it's hard to get a huge piece of marble to balance on 1 foot instead of 2, right? Does that make sense?
It does.
And the reason is because some other artist had taken that piece of marble and started a project, and they hollowed out this big section in this middle of this beautiful piece of marble. And so all these other artists were like, oh, this is perfect marble, except there's a hole in the middle. I can't do anything with this. But Michelangelo's thinking was, it isn't about me putting what I want to see onto this marble. It is about me revealing what is inside. And so the reason that David's weight is on his back foot is because this huge hole was taken out of the marble itself. And as a non-technical winemaker, this is a stretch, I know, but I swear it makes so much sense in my head of it sort of revealing what the vineyard is providing. The blend is in there. And some years observing, it seems like the blend presents itself more easily. And some years it seems like the winemaking team has to search a little bit harder to kind of find the potential within. I feel like I really.
No, I like that a lot. That actually resonates with me quite a bit. I like the idea of revealing what's there.
You've never told that before, Madge. That's a brilliant analogy, if I say so.
It makes sense. It's a good book. It's called The Agony and the Ecstasy. I highly recommend.
It's been too long ago. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, now that we're done waxing ecstatic about art that I know a tiny bit about. All right, we have a tiny bit of GSM left. Let's see glasses. Are you all ready to get into? Okay, a tiny bit. There's no rush. We're right on time.
I hope you've all got the old farm doll because it's really good.
This is the thing that I will be We have the rest of the blocks in the back, and
Yeah.
I will be taking this home. Sorry.
We're going to feast a bit more in the coming days.
Yeah, I love a Gouda.
Mm.
I love a Gouda. All right, so we're going to work towards our Syrahs, staying in the 2023 vintage. The next wine is going to be the 2023 Old 900 Syrah.
We're going to do them side by side, Madge.
Oh yeah, if you have two glasses available to pour the 2023 Old 900 and the 2018 at the same time, amazing. And if not, then just start with the 23 and then go to the 24, or excuse me, the 18.
Here's the 23.
There you go. Thank you.
23. And 18 coming.
And 18. One of our favorite things about these tastings is that we get to share libraries with you all. You know, we keep a little stash of everything, and we don't actually open them and go through it that often. So to get to not only taste them, but taste them with you all in the context of like, we're somewhere comfortable, we've got little bites. This is ideal. Thank you for being an excuse for us to open these wines. I'm excited.
Oh, Jesus, hold your horses.
All right, the
Okay.
2023 pairing.
The 2023 is Young Manchego and Fig Spread.
A sheep cheese, famously from Spain.
Mhm. And the 2018 is Monte Enebro and French onion confit.
And this is also a Spanish cheese. So on the Old 900s, Emily went Spain for both. But the Manchego is a sheep's cheese, while the Monte Enebro is a goat's cheese. And you'll notice the rind on the Monte Enebro it's ash and penicillium rind.
Oh, wow.
And so it's a much bloomier rind than anything else that she put together today. And then with a little confit. Okay, let's start with some notes on 23.
So on the 23, we already talked a little bit about that vintage, so I don't need to cover that again. Everybody knows the Old 900 is named after a B-29 bomber that my dad was a crew member on during World War II. Flew 36 missions off the island of Tinian and lived to tell about it. Otherwise, I wouldn't be here with you tonight.
It's true. That is true.
What else? What else can we talk about this, Madge? This is year in and year out. Often one of our best wines. I'm trying to think. So these wines, none of the critics haven't gotten a hold of the 23s yet because they haven't come around. But I have submitted them to a couple of competitions, to the San Francisco Chronicle Wine Competition and to the LA International Wine Competition. And if my memory serves me right, the Old 900 got a gold medal in both of those.
At least.
I'm pretty sure. We had several double golds as well, but I don't think it was the Old 900. I think it was a mere gold medal. And
so what I do want to say about this block in particular is that it's a north facing slope that this is planted on, which means that the number of hours it has in the sunlight per day is fewer than our other main Syrah, the Toasted Slope. Yeah, so you can see.
I'm gonna pull that map back up.
Yeah. So in a year like 2023, where like we said, it was a cooler year. This is perfect because you can actually see the oak trees there are causing it to be in the shade, while clearly where the S is over there, that's our Toasted Slope, it's still going to be in the sun for a while. So in a year like 2023, it kind of pushes this wine to the extreme of what it is, which is kind of leaning towards, as far as Paso Robles goes, leans stylistically towards a cooler climate Syrah. And really, to me in particular, it tastes like a Northern Rhone, not so much like a cool climate like there's a lot of Syrah in Edna Valley, but very different flavor profile here.
And the clone on this is we took cuttings from a vineyard in Edna Valley, which Edna Valley is basically 45 minutes south of us. And it's closer to the ocean and it's lower altitude. Edna Valley is much, much cooler than Paso Robles as a growing region. And so there's a vineyard that we've always admired called Alban Vineyards, beautiful wines. And we took cuttings from John Alban And so the Old 900, that little section, that spot of the vineyard that you can see, is plant material from a cool climate vineyard. So in order to give it a chance to do its thing at all, we knew that tucking it into this north slope was going to be the best site for it. Because again, if you look at Toasted Slope, which is where that S is, this is an evening photograph and it's just full sun. So Old 900 it's a unique sort of tucked away little section. And when we planted the vineyard, we planted the Toasted Slope that says S and the Old 900 thinking we would bottle one Syrah every vintage. And we thought, okay, we'll have these sort of like spices in the spice rack to make one amazing Syrah. And in our first year, which was 07, it was very clear that it didn't make either one better to combine them. Some years we actually play around with that, but what is consistent is Toasted Slope is one wine, Old 900 is another. And the names of the wines, they're either vineyard references or we do have one for each of my grandparents. And so Old 900 is, as my dad was saying, is sort of a tip of the hat to his dad. And so it's a special one.
And this picture,
I love this
if
picture.
you look at the Toasted Slope where the S is kind of over on the left-hand side, just up a bit and to the right, you can see a big old tree that's embedded in the middle of that vineyard. That's where our deck is located. And I hope many of you have had an opportunity to taste there. We offer those tastings by appointment, I think Friday, Saturday,
And Monday.
and Monday.
And if you're coming to town on a day when it's not
Call us.
offered, just ask.
Yeah.
If we have hands to do it, it's our favorite thing. Like we would love to do it. And it's included in your membership. So we just need heads up that you're coming and we'll take you up there.
Yeah, it could be me spinning yarns and telling all sorts of balderdash. But go back to the picture again, Madge. I want to just point out this picture is really distorts reality in a sense. It looks like the Old 900 is tilted away from it, like there's a hilltop and it's tilted away. Mm-hmm. In fact, the Old 900 leans steeply toward that oak tree over there. When you look at them, it looks like a 45-degree angle, like it might come down in your direction.
Yeah.
So the actual north facing is far more dramatic than this picture indicates.
One of the scariest spots to watch our vineyard team do work is the Old 900 block. And the thing that is scary to watch, and thankfully our team they're really good at driving tractors, is when they go down Old 900 on the tractor can go down, up and down all day, but at some point it has to turn to go up again. And when it makes the turn, it is not relaxing. It is not relaxing to observe. But again, we have sort of specialized equipment and our team is really good.
I can tell you, I got a story here, man.
Oh no.
One of the things we'll often do, people come to taste, they don't know us at all. And they really love our wines and they say, hey, can we go see the vineyard? And if it's at all possible, we will try and get them up here. And there was a couple, they were driving a Prius. We give them a map and we tell them, you see that road that goes across the bottom of the Toasted Slope, right below the S?
Only go there.
That road, which goes down to the trailer pond, drive there, turn around and come back. That's what we told them. Well, I don't know, 45 minutes later,
spoiler alert,
we get a phone call. And where they are, you see the O in the Old 900 Syrah? There's a road just below the O.
Road. It's like a dirt pile where there aren't vines or oak trees.
At any rate, there was a Prius there that could not get out. And so I was sent to find them. It took me a long time. I looked all over the damn vineyard. It took 45 minutes before I finally
couldn't
looked
have possibly gone down
the
there.
last possible place. And it turned, so I said, okay, let me drive it. I'll get you out of here. And I couldn't get it out either.
No way.
So we ended up, fortunately, it was a work day. Daniel Martinez, our vineyard manager, was on a tractor over where the M is over there in the Mourvedre block. He drove over and hooked up a chain and hauled the damn thing out of there. And meanwhile, I took them back down to the winery and plied them with alcohol to calm them down.
And then we sent them home in an Uber. I'm sure.
At any rate, there's a story for you. If you go up on the vineyard, stick to the roads, please.
Yeah, we'll give you a map. Don't worry. This is where Melissa, Kelly, and I come in to make sure that when you go to the vineyard, it's lovely and not harrowing. Let's talk about the 2018.
So 18, I made this wine, actually. How about that? There's a shocker.
That's true.
So I look back at 18. That was a great weather year. We were coming out of the drought. There's like a 3-year pretty hard drought in the mid-teens. And we were coming out of it in 18. We had a really pleasant weathers. We had some good rain that winter before. We got 129 tons from the vineyard, which is the second highest of all time. And we picked 27 lots that year. And again, it was 10 weeks. It seems like 10 weeks is how long vintage takes on Alta Colina. In terms of just trying to remember what happened, to be honest with you, I can hardly remember a damn thing about it. I'm sure
We have
something very
notes,
important
don't
happened.
worry.
Yeah.
We're professionals.
But it has aged. So let's try that and see if we can find some aging differential in the wine.
I
Oh.
would love,
Yeah.
go ahead.
Cheese. Yeah.
Cheese. Oh, we talked about it.
Did we?
This is the ash and penicillium rind.
Oh, okay, great.
Yep. The onion confit is working for me, by the way.
Yes,
With this.
that was excellent, the cheese. Yeah, so my first take here is that this one doesn't necessarily really come off as something that is, how old is that? It's 2026, 8 years old almost. If you look at the color, it hasn't really browned very much. You're not getting large edges there. So, that just shows the amount of color that was in this wine at the beginning was immense. Beyond that, it's still got a lot of fruit character. So yeah, it's just kudos to Bob and the old 900 in general. That block produces very ageable wines. So
Super.
yeah,
The fact I feel like with aged wine, some of the things you see, sort of the telltale signs, is the color changes. It becomes more kind of brown over time, and the rim of it will go from being, sort of purple to clear when it touches the glass to more brown. And there might be more sediment, and just kind of my rules of thumb when it comes to aging, because I have no self-control is really what this is about, is if among the things that go away with time, tannin is one and fruit is one. So if tannin doesn't bother you and what you love about a wine is this, this sort of youngish, ripish fruit, then drink it in the first couple years. But if you want the fruit and the tannin to start to mellow a little, wait 3, 4, 5, and then after sort of 5, 6 years, then it's starting to get into more kind of aged wines. And I would guess this wine was like a 21, just if you put it in a glass. I'm amazed.
Yeah, it still has a lot of tannin, and when Maggie talks about how the tannins can soften as the wine ages, what really happens is the chains of tannins that are in the wine, they grow, they polymerize is the word, and eventually, well, by growing, they can change their the sub-quality of the texture, and hopefully produce more rounded, more of a finer grain sort of feeling. And then they also can get so big that they physically precipitate down into the bottom of the bottle, and they're no longer in the wine. So you can lose a little bit that way.
This was like part of the sediment.
It's part of the sediment, exactly. Yeah. But this one still has a lot of time that it could sit and continue to improve.
I'm thinking about the drought years that you mentioned, Bob. It was 15 was really intense, 16. So I can't remember, honestly. I can't remember when it rained.
I think the rain was 17, 18 winter.
I think so too. And when I picture just a vine being a little plant in the world, if you're 5 years into a drought, that's really stressful in your life as a plant. And after it rains, you can sort of be like, okay, we're okay. And you might get a little sloppy. You might get a little lazy.
Let's get some fruit out there. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Like we can go, let's produce some fruit. And so managing yields in that situation is really important just from a vineyard management standpoint. But I'm really surprised that this is an 18. I think it's
So
I don't know, this is gonna hang for a long time.
The other thing is the vineyard, it's pretty steady. Like this was the second highest we've ever gotten in yield wise. We had 3.9 tons per acre. And let's see here. In 2023, we had 3.6 tons per acre. And in 2025, we had 3.8 tons per acre. So it's fairly consistent. The lowest we ever got was
15, probably.
maybe somewhere back in there. And it was, I don't remember the number, but it was the total ton, we got like 82 tons off of the vineyard that year. And of course, in 2018, we got 129. So there's
Yeah.
a pretty substantial difference.
And to put into context a little bit, and I love you've seen more vineyards than I have, frankly. Just of when we're talking about tons per acre, I feel like we need some other points of reference. So like if you're a high-end vineyard going into high-end wines,
Yeah.
what do you figure? Sort of 2 to 5 tons an acre?
Yeah, probably two to four. It really depends on the grape. So if
Yeah.
you look at a Grenache cluster, these clusters are huge and each one weighs quite a bit. So inevitably, that vine can still be in balance and producing the highest quality and maybe get 6 or more. It really depends on the location and what the balance of the vine is. So, but for Syrah, if we're talking under 4 tons, that's a relatively low
Yeah.
yielding.
Mhm.
And I think our average on the Syrah is around 2.9, actually,
Yeah.
just a hair below 3 over the years.
So right in that sort of 2 to 4 tons an acre range. And just a guess, if we were farming grapes that were going to go in 2-buck chuck, like
Oh,
how many tons an acre do you think that would be?
you could probably get up to,
15?
well, maybe on the Grenache, you could maybe get up to 12.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, so
12 is-
triple.
yeah.
Triple. And again, if you just imagine a plant with leaves, those leaves can only create so much energy. And if that energy is going into fewer grapes, the idea is that the grapes will be better. They'll be more developed. The phenolic ripeness is that it's better. And you've got to balance it, like the math has to work too.
Before we move on, I want to give a shout out to Monte Inebro cheese.
It's good.
Good Lord, that is fantastic. And the pairing, unbelievable.
The rind, it can go either way when you see a weird looking outside of a
Yeah.
cheese.
Yeah, totally.
And this went the right way. This went the right way. Okay, how are we doing? Excellent. All right.
I see some puppies out there too. I like
Take
that.
your time. Oh, do you?
Yeah.
Where?
I don't know, where are they now? I saw them earlier.
Oh,
There's at least two dogs checking in.
it's like a law of physics that pets will find the Zoom camera. Oh, hello. Hey, kitty.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Honey is here.
Honey's in the background here.
She's back here somewhere. Oh, puppies, guys. Oh my God.
There's a pair.
Look
Beautiful.
at these. No,
Oh,
look down
Honey
here.
came running up. She's right
I
here.
know. My dog thinks we're
Honey,
talking to
come
her.
here.
I'm
Come
so
here.
sorry.
Up,
I'm so sorry to disappoint you.
She's just here looking for
Oh,
Come on,
Rochelle.
honey. Come on.
Rocky.
Guys.
That's
Up
the
here,
dog.
honey.
Honey,
Come on.
what are you doing? Honey doesn't know how to like jump. Oh, you can kind of see her down at the bottom here.
You see a little bit?
Yeah, it's
Oh,
good.
yeah, honey. Yeah.
Oh, you guys.
Oh,
These are
now,
good
now she wants to be
dogs.
petted. She's poking me with her nose.
These are good dogs. Occasionally we get guests who give their dogs wine. Honey is not interested though.
All right. We're talking Anne's Block Petite Sirah. I'm going to
Petite
pass
Sirah.
that over. While you guys are pouring, we're going to do the cheese routine here. Honey, well, lay off, girl. I can't
Honey-
pet you. I need
Honey's
one
now
down
being
here.
really greedy.
Yeah, honey, come on, girl. All right, so the cheese pairing is up in smoke.
This is
Appears to
cool. This is a cool
be-
cheese.
and it's paired with ruby chocolate.
So this is a Chev. It's a goat cheese from Oregon. And for those of you who got the Murray's cheeses, when you opened it, that smell was just gorgeous. It's wrapped in a smoked maple leaf. And it
No,
has
that was
this,
the other one, wasn't it?
no, it was this one.
Was it this one? Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, you're right. It is.
Yeah. And it's really cool. Really, really cool. Yeah. All right. A little 2023 Anne's Block. So
Yeah.
Petite Sirah, this is something that is almost an exclusively members only wine.
Almost.
It's just very low production. We literally just don't have that much
We have
to
1
work
acre.
with.
But I have to
Mhm.
make a confession, Madge.
Okay.
I work.
Okay.
Oops. Oops. So I worked the tasting room on Sunday.
Yeah.
And arbitrarily on Sunday, I opened a bottle of Anne's Block.
Uh-huh.
Every single person that came in the tasting room on Sunday bought a bottle of Anne's
Yeah.
Block. Several
It's
bought
really
more
good.
than one.
It's-
I wish we had 1,000 cases of this damn stuff. We could be rich.
And I'll have you know, Bob was under explicit instructions to not open any Anne's Block
We're running out.
because we want to make sure that there is enough for all of our members to get to get it.
A case here or there, we can be all right.
Insane. It's
Maybe.
insane.
Maybe.
So named for my mom's mom. You can see on this image, the original Anne's block. It's right in the middle of the image. When we first planted the vineyard, that's all we had. And our plan was to blend it. We never anticipated doing a standalone wine. And it's so good that we very quickly said, okay, not only is this going to be a standalone wine, we are also going to graft this block on the left. It was originally Roussanne. It was originally a white wine variety to Petite Sirah, so that we can go from making 50, 55 cases to sort of 115 cases, give or take. Really small production. And it's one that it's a knockout all the time. It ages really well. It shows really well young. So that's why it's typically a spring release. We can get away with releasing it sooner because that fruit, it's always delicious.
Yeah, coming off of the 2018, where a lot of that primary fruit, what we call primary fruit, is a lot of the fruity flavors that you get from the fermentation and from the grapes themselves. That's kind of drifted away on the 2018, but then moving into the Petite Sirah that always just kind of smacks you in the face with it. But in comparison, this is it comes off as a very powerful wine.
Yeah, it's not a wilting flower. The word petite is in the name, and all that's referring to is the fact that the berries themselves are really small, which actually makes the wine itself a bit more intense because there's less juice to sort of dilute the intensity of the skins. I feel like I didn't explain that great. Does that make sense?
Perfect. I think it was perfect, man.
But if you just imagine a bigger, like the type of grape you get at the grocery store, there's a lot more juice in there compared to a berry the size of a blackberry.
The
it
juice
makes the
to
skin
ratio.
Exactly. The skin is a lot more influential with Petite Sirah, and so that's why petite comes into play. But again, this is a really limited production wine, and I wish we could be like, it was the plan the whole time to have a really stellar Petite Sirah up our sleeve, and it was
pure luck,
pure luck.
circumstance. I planted it originally because in my home wine making days, I was always struggling to get color in my wine. And I thought to myself, by golly, I'm not going to have that problem going forward. We're going to have some Petite Sirah around here. So I planted an acre thinking I would blend it for color. Roughly speaking, it's never been blended, although in fact, a couple of times a little bit
every
of
once in a while we'll steal a couple.
Mostly we just take it, stick it in neutral barrels. The simplest minded approach to it you can imagine. Wait 2 years, throw it in the bottle, and sell it as fast as we can get it out of the box, basically.
It's a special one. Yeah.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on Petite Sirah, Dallas?
Yeah, in my early days before I started, in my early days, I'll say, I think I thought of Petite Sirah as too much of a hammer. But I've learned to really love it. It's especially off of this vineyard, the aromatics you get off of it is just so fruity. And so I think this is a great example. The head trained vines here for the Anne's Block Petite Sirah, they produce a really special wine. So I wish we had more.
So
No kidding.
a weird story on this one is back around 2018 or so, we had a writer. I was for Wine and Food. What was it? It was a lady writer who came to write about our wine, and we tasted on that deck that I referred to earlier, and she wrote an article. I think it was in Wine and Food and Wine magazine.
Probably.
But when it was a really good article, we've had many articles written about us, and usually they're full of errors. Just I hope none of you are reporters.
Some of them are crazy. Some of the errors are wild. Anyway,
this one was right on. She understood what we were doing. She relayed the information correctly. But at the beginning, the top picture on it when they ran it in Food and Wine was a picture of the trailer pond, which had nothing to do with the article. And the next morning, Melissa came in and there was 900 emails in her in tray wanting to rent the darn trailers in the trailer pond. And that's pretty much what launched that whole damn thing. It made us be from kind of, gosh, wouldn't it be nice if somebody came to like, gosh, beat them off with a stick. But there was also in that same article, there was a picture of Anne's Block taken near dusk. It was kind of the sun was setting, and it was in the springtime, and it was that big cover crop like you guys saw earlier. So there's lots of grass growing around these head trained vines that were in there, and it's a beautiful image. And about every 4 months, Food and Wine runs that article again.
Yeah.
It's
Or
electronic.
like recycle the content.
And this has been going on for 6 or 8 years now.
Mhm.
And I get this, we have a Google searches for Alta Colina anywhere, and it sends you an alert. Alta Colina just got mentioned somewhere. And I used to just get all excited. Oh gosh, who knew about us? And then I would go in and it would be Food and Wine. It would have nothing to do with us. And if you scroll down to the very bottom of the page, there would be that picture of Anne's block with a link to the original article.
Oh, wow.
Kind of an irrelevant comment, but at any rate, that's food
It's
for thought.
dreamy. It's a dreamy spot. So we are close to time. We're in no rush. We're going to hang out a little bit, but I wanted to make sure that we got any other questions answered. And in terms of sort of where we are with release, again, this is perfect opportunity to customize. So anytime between now and the 17th, you can log in, rearrange your wines, add anything on. That 2018 Old 900 Syrah is available really to you all only, and we only pulled 3 cases. So if you'd like any, let us know, and you can reply to any of the email. I know I sent you incessant emails with the Zoom link, but if you're like me, I need it. Well, I won't be able to find it at the last minute. So you can hit reply there, text us, and that's a special thing for all of you, that 2018 Old 900. And then anything else that you're loving and want to add on. And this is also a great opportunity to throw in some downslope. So many of you are already 12 bottle members. So that means shipping is included and you get the best discount. But for many folks who are 6 bottle members, what we see a lot is people grab their 6 bottles and then they add 6 bottles of downslope, which is really a beautiful drink now wine. And it's a screaming deal for members. It's about $32 a bottle for members. And if you round up to a case, shipping is included. So we always like to remind you of that benefit. And Melissa is here. Kelly is here. I am here, the whole team. Any questions? If you just want to enjoy the rest of the night and on Friday you think, what did we taste? What? And you want to jump on the phone and talk through the options, we're happy to do that. We love being able to connect with you and share the wines. And the whole point of membership is for you to drink what you are excited about and enjoy. And we're so happy that we got to, I don't know, just literally share the wines with you. You all live far away. Thank you for being here. And
I would just add to that we do this for the love of doing it, really. And the people that make it possible are you guys. You guys are a lot of the, really keyed in, active supporters, and we appreciate the heck out of that. So thank you guys.
Yes, we do. Cheers. Although we need another top this up.
We should unmute and get some people in.
We should. All right, we're gonna cheers you all. I'll give you a minute too. Any other questions you want to throw in the chat? And then
I just want to pop in here for a sec. Can you hear me okay?
Yes. Perfect.
Okay.
Yep, go ahead, Mel.
We're getting a lot of notes from everyone saying that everyone really enjoys this interaction with you guys, that everyone's charming and fun to listen to. And I had several messages saying, welcome Dallas, that you're doing a great job, that they're really enjoying your whites. And those of you who can hear me, the Tillmans and Dallas can't see all of your questions, which is why I popped in to just share a little bit.
I
really enjoyed interacting with you guys too. So cheers, you guys. I'll take it back. I'll mute again. Bye.
Cheers, Mel. Thank you.
Cheers.
Thank you for looking back
San Diego.
Everyone, thank you so much for joining. Spring 26 release.
Yeah.
Love it. And if anyone needs to pop off, enjoy the rest of your evening. Yeah, anyone else who wants to come off mute, we're just going to hang out for a couple minutes.